In the daysheet trial, just like the daysheet final, you're going to have group by either patient or date of entry. Go ahead and select how you want to group your report, and then the difference is that over here in the daysheet trial you do get a provider profile range. In other words, you can generate it by provider, where in the daysheet final you don't. All we have to do is go ahead and click generate. Now before I click generate, if I have any unapproved charges in the system, if you recall in charge review, I do have some, it's going to give me an error or a warning and say, look, you still have charges to approve, do you still want to continue? I'll click OK. Second thing, if I still have batches that haven't been closed by this time, it will also pull up a little screen that says that these batches haven't been closed. So I click OK. There's my open batches, a list of them, and as you can see I have quite a few. So you want to make sure that to keep everything clean, always close your batch before you start doing your daysheet trials, or in this case we could skip the daysheet trial and do the daysheet final. So if we need to, we can click cancel, go back, close all of our batches, but I'm going to go ahead and click continue. There's no harm in continuing, although as far as keeping track of things it does get a little bit difficult, because you can see I have batches open forever. In the perfect world, we want to have one batch open in the morning, close it before we run our end of day wizard, and then generate the reports. The first one's Abbott Andy. We are grouping by patients here, and I can print this report, click on the back button, and then select by date of entry and generate. And it still warns me about my unapproved charges and also my open batches. When I click close, it'll go ahead and check the daysheet trial, saying that I've looked at the report. Make sure you print it off. The next thing is the daysheet final, and if I click run, you'll see that basically, in essence, it's the same report as the daysheet trial, with one difference. And as you recall in the daysheet trial, we had the same options for group by. Click generate. It warns me again of the unapproved charges and also of the batches that are open. I can click continue. And if I leave my batches open, again, it won't hurt the system at all. It won't keep my claims from generating or my statements. It's an FYI for you as how organized you want to be and to keep track of things. And as you can see, it's the same report that's being generated, but with one difference. In the other report, we didn't have the close of day. In the daysheet final, we do have it. So before we go ahead and close our day here, we want to make sure that we either save it by clicking on the Save button and save it to our desktop and give it a name. And what I like to do when it comes to my reports, I like creating a folder. For example, I'll click on the Create New Folder and say this is my Daysheet Final. And then double click on it to open it up and then give it a name. Now the names I like to use, since theoretically this ought to be done every day, is basically a date. And then maybe something like Day Sheet Final Close. Once I save it, and of course the last two options you have is printing this report or sending it as an email. Now you want to make sure that you save this report or print it, because if you don't, the last step down below, this button here, the Close Day button, when you close it, you'll never be able to generate this report again, at least here. Of course you do have the Reports menu where you can pull other bits of information, but as far as simplicity goes, you'll never be able to print this report off. So make sure you've got it saved somewhere or printed. Now, if you recall, in the charge review screen in the Claims Center, I said there were two gates. The first gate is approving all the charges. Once you approve the charges, the gate opens up and releases them, and all the charges will come here to your close day, which is the second gate. If you do not close the day here and click on that button, your charges will not be released, or the claims won't be released to be sent to McKesson, so you can go ahead and bill the carriers. So make sure that you click on the Close Day button and release those claims. It'll say once you close the day's final activity will no longer be available in the report. Are you finished with the report and do you want to close the day? Go ahead and click OK. It'll prompt you when it's done. Now it says the final activity for the day has been closed, and we can click OK. And then we can click the Close button, and you'll see that now that's been checked off and we're ready to move on to the final step in submitting our claims, the actual claim submission wizard. If you didn't want to run your daysheet trial but skip right to daysheet final, Next time when you're finished with your charge review and it highlights Daysheet Trial, simply click the next button. It'll give you a little pop-up that'll warn you saying, look, you haven't gone through your Daysheet Trial. That's okay. Click OK. It'll skip right to Daysheet Final. Daysheet Trial will not have a green check mark next to it, but that's alright. It doesn't have to be checked in order for us to end our day. So quick review before we generate our claims. First is the deposit slip in the checklist. This you'll generate in order to compare all the payments you posted in Advanced MD for the day. Now if you haven't posted any payments and you get blank, that's okay. Go ahead and close it. It checks it off for you, goes to the next one, Claims Center. In the Claims Center, if you purchase the Claim Inspector, you want to click on that tab first, fix all your claims, all the errors, then go ahead and click on the Charge Review tab and start approving your charges. If you recall, once you approve your charges, it releases from the first gate. The second gate will come to Daysheet Final. Again, you can click Next and bypass Daysheet Trial. In Daysheet Final, print or save, generate your report, and then once you have it saved, click Close, and then you'll have the second gate released, and now all the claims or all the charges that you've approved to go out and the claims will be submitted right here. And now we're ready to submit our claims by running the Claims Submission Wizard. On this screen, we are one click away from generating our claims both electronically and or to paper. Now if you leave all the fields blank that you see over to the left and click Next, the claims will start generating. But if you'd like to pull it a specific claim for a patient, simply go ahead and type in the first couple letters of the patient's last name and hit the Tab key. Double click on the correct patient, and then when you click Next, it'll just generate the claims for that patient. You can do it for carrier or provider. Down in the corner here, the trial billing only, it'll do two things if you check that. It will not mark the patient's history that the claims have been billed, and it will not send claims to the clearinghouse. And if you want to do a trial billing, you can check that. But for right now, everything looks good. Leave it blank and do a simple click on the next button to generate your claims. And this may take a while depending upon how many claims you have to generate. Now when Advanced MD is done generating my claims, and in this case I didn't submit any electronically to McKesson but generated them in-house, as you can see by my HCFA 1500 red, the total count of claims I have is 3. The total amount of those claims is $965, and then I can click on the View link to view the summary of those claims. And you can see the 3 of them, 2 of them are Abbott Andes, different dates of services, different visit numbers, and then Daphne Due. Now you can print this, but nonetheless this is just a summary. To actually print the claims, you have a print link. Click on the print and it will pull up Microsoft Word in the HCFA 1500 red. If you have a lot of claims, like maybe 10 or 12, it may take a minute while it generates. And then as you can see, when it's done generating, we have the HCFA 1500 red. There's Abbott Andy. The first page, I can click and drag and scroll down to the second page to the second Abbott Andy or his second date of service, and then finally we have Daphne Due here. Either click Save and print it later, or click on the Print button and print your claims now. And then when you're done, go ahead and close out of Word, and it'll take you back to your Claim Submission Wizard screen.